Yes, I visited Cuba twice.
I had nightmares before I left.
Russia was in Cuba.
It was a no-no to even want to go there.
I was born in Chicago. In 1958, I went down with my mother and my father and moved to Havana, Cuba.
We Americans were not allowed to go wandering off on our own.
And everybody asks me in Europe, why aren't Americans allowed in Cuba?
Oh, yeah. We have to keep a journal every day of what we did.
It's our government that doesn't want us to go there.
When I got to Cuba, I actually felt very safe.
That's very bothersome to all of us. Giant paintings on the sides of apartment buildings of Che Guevara.
Cuba belongs to the Cubans.
It was the most racially integrated culture I've ever experienced.
The main reason we came to Cuba was because my father had already been negotiating and starting a new business called Vitaguano. He could create the company and be part of the new agrarian society that Fidel was trying to do in exporting. Fidel loved my dad. The only thing he didn't like about my dad was he didn't smoke cigars.
The only thing I know about Fidel Castro is he was a dictator.
In the U.S., when there was a dictator before Fidel Castro, there was a very friendly relationship, but then
we've had this embargo for years.
To starve out Castro. It would have been a great idea.
There's 11.2 million Cubans.
In Cuba, they don't call it an embargo, they call it a blockade.
The idea behind the embargo was always, and this is documented in U.S. documents, to starve the Cuban people, to provide enough chaos and suffering that they would rise up and overthrow the government.
There were times when you can't get toilet paper in Havana, in any store.
Nobody has any soap over there.
There was a huge billboard in Cuba that said there are, I forget how many, 3 billion children in the world are going to sleep on the street tonight. Not one of them is Cuban. You give up a lot for that.
Are 90 miles away from us.
Two worlds that are very, very close yet very far.
These people are right there and they're very aware of us. But we hardly seem to know they exist.